Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in. 2025, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, autopsy reveals a US student died by strangulation. An investigation has been launched into the October 16 death of a University of the West Indies Mona student following an autopsy which revealed that she died of strangulation, the news understands. The police are now awaiting toxicology reports for 20-year-old Victoria Brown Hanley, which they expect to reveal more information on the circumstances of her death. Initial reports said Brown Hanley was alone in her room on the 4th floor of the George Lane Hall after her roommate left shortly after 1 a.m. When the roommate returned sometime after 6 a.m., she saw Brown Hanley lying face down with a scarf wrapped tightly around her neck. The roommate reportedly removed the scarf and summoned the campus security. A team from the Mona police post also responded, and it was subsequently confirmed that Brown Hanley of a Mandeville, Manchester address was dead. Social Security Ministry to construct temporary shelters for Hurricane Melissa victims. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security has announced the plans to provide relief and support to communities most severely affected by Hurricane Melissa over the next 2 to 4 weeks, including the construction of temporary shelters. According to a statement released on Wednesday, the temporary shelter solution will be provided on a needs basis and will include large tents supplied by partners. This follows growing public frustration over the slow pace of setting up shelters for the thousands of Jamaicans left homeless by the hurricane. In the meantime, the ministry will also continue deliveries to hard-to-reach communities. As part of its broader recovery strategy, the ministry will complete a verified household registry with vulnerability tags to ensure fair and efficient distribution of assistance. The ministry further plans to transition to early recovery, exploring targeted cash and livelihood support in coordination with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and maintain public information and grievance channels, including helplines and parish offices. Since a Category 5 Hurricane Melissa hit the western part of the island, the ministry has distributed over 30,000 food packages to households most impacted. Cleanup activities underway in Catherine Hall, St. James. The cleanup activities are continuing in Catherine Hall, Montego Bay, St. James to clear mud and other debris deposited by floodwaters. The community was among those impacted after the Montego River overflowed its banks during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. A team from the St. James Municipal Corporation, along with emergency support teams, assisted residents on Tuesday in removing bulky waste and the garbage, as well as washing mud from their homes and yards. Chairman of the Municipal Corporation and the Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says potable water is also being supplied to residents. Mr. Vernon bemoaned the discomfort of the residents and called for the relevant authorities to give priority attention to repairing the eroded banks of the river to prevent a repeat of the flooding.
Even though it's not an immediate need, but something that we have to look at very near to bring about some resolution. The river, the banks has been eroded, and this is something that has to be taken from a national level. The NROC, perhaps, they are doing the bridge now. We'll have to look at it, because if we don't look at that, we risk having a repeat of this situation. But immediately, what we're doing is cleaning up the community so that the people can get back to their normal way of life. Right now, it is miserable. It is devastating. And we made a commitment to bring relief. We're bringing relief. And we will also be supplying food packages to each household in the communities, West Green and Catherine Hall.
Field hospital set up in Black River. The first of several emergency field hospitals has been established in Black River, St. Elizabeth as part of a national response to provide primary health care to patients and those needing medical attention following Hurricane Melissa. The field unit comes after the Black River Hospital sustained significant structural damage when hurricane winds swept away sections of the facility's roof, forcing staff to evacuate patients. The field hospital comes via a partnership between the government and the Samaritan's Purse, a non-governmental organization based in the United States. Christopher Tofton says the facility is a fully equipped hospital with an operating theater, pharmacy, ward space, inpatient care, lodging for staff, and a water treatment plant.
With operating theater, pharmacy, in ward space, inpatient care, lodging for the staff, water treatment plant, and the team will combine with the local Black River Hospital team to ensure that emergency cases are dealt with efficiently, and they should be operational this morning. Last night adding the finishing touches. We're working with them to establish some health centers, one in White House, Westmoreland, another in Black River, so we can triage or deal with the community-based health care, and then some outreach into the communities. So it's the first of a series of activities that will lead to a few more field hospitals, not by Samaritan's Purse, but by others. We're expecting the Spanish to arrive this evening, and from there we will go to Falmouth for a second installment. And then at the primary level, a number of initiatives involving a number of entities and individuals to try and address some of the concerns in the inner land of where this storm would have impacted Jamaicans.
Meanwhile, Everton Anderson, Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Fund, said mobile pharmacy services have been established in areas impacted by Hurricane Melissa to reach patients requiring medication. The services will be provided in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney.
Serving the parishes of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney, and we'll be going into various communities on a regular basis using this mobile service, and we will be reaching our patients. We're also engaging the community, especially persons with bikes, because we do understand that some patients may need their medication, and we will do everything that we can do to get the medication to our patients, especially our chronic patients who have been without medication in some areas. And we are reaching these patients now, and the team is committed to continuing this service until we reach to our regular service again at our facilities.
Banks are working to bring ABMs back online. The Jamaica Bankers Association says it is working to bring back online automated banking machines as the frustration grows over the access to cash in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Speaking with the news on Wednesday morning, Barbara Hume, Chief Executive Officer of the JBA, disclosed that the damage to the country's telecommunications sector has impacted the restoration of ABM services across the island.
Because, the ABMs are on a network, and so they have to be able to communicate with the rest of the banking system. And the telecoms are doing their best to restore service, I'm sure. But as we would have seen, even sometimes when service has been restored, it's not consistent. So you may find the ABMs and the point-of-sale machines, unfortunately, going offline from time to time.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Hume, for the ones that are actually working, though, there's some persons who have complained that it's out of cash.
We are working working with our service providers, and they're doing their best. They too have their constraints, but the demand for cash has increased significantly since the hurricane, as you would expect. And so sometimes, it takes a little bit longer than any of us would like for things to catch up. But please be assured that we're doing our best. Yes, we had to do that because, believe it or not, even during the hurricane, in the height of the hurricane, we have camera footage showing people trying to steal entire ABMs or to vandalize them. Now, if I could use this opportunity to appeal to the public, please treat the ABMs as a public utility, as a public service, because that is what they are. When one of these ABMs is taken out of service, clearly it impacts all the people who depend on it. So if you see anything that looks untoward where the handling of an ABM is concerned, please report it to the nearest police station. Our member institutions are all at this time looking at those options. Somewhat similar to COVID, we realize that this catastrophic event is going to have far-reaching implications for both businesses and individuals. And so our members are already turning their attention to such credit relief and forbearance as we will be able to afford our customers. And we are in active dialogue with the Bank of Jamaica about that as well.
And would that serve all the customers or consideration for the affected
for the affected customers.
Customers, right.
So, I suppose at some level, all of Jamaica has been affected because I kind of feel as though we're all suffering from PTSD right now.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.